Do we have a quorum? We do not have a quorum.
I think Jen might be here.
All right, well, it's 6:30. I want to start this on time. I'm taking over for Megan today. They got tickets for the playoffs for the Kraken, so I said that was more important than coming here. So I said I would take over. So please be patient, and I'll get all the help I need. So we'll start. We're going to call to order. So I call to order. Roll call. I'm here.
Rachel.
Jen. So Shawnee, Ann said that she was not coming. And who's here? And we have not heard from Ashley? I did not hear from Ashley either. I haven't heard from Shawnee, and Ann, I know, said she wasn't going to be here. And Megan said she wasn't going to be here. Okay. So I guess the first thing is approval of the agenda.
I made a small addition to the new business. I wanted to talk about the literary arts, but it's already on the agenda, so we just have to approve it.
So do we have a motion to approve the amendments approve the agenda with?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second it.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the next thing is the approval of the minutes. So first is the March meeting minutes for March 27th. Did everybody get a chance to look those over? So we need to call for approval for the minutes for March 27th. Someone want to make a motion?
Oh, sure. I motion to approve the minutes for March 27th.
Second?
I second.
All right.
All agree? All, what's the right word?
All in favor?
All in
favor.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the second is the special meeting that was held last week on April 11th. The April 11th. So do we have a motion to approve?
Where is it?
Is that on the packet here? I don't see it.
Yeah, it's in the packet. It's the
It's
second minutes.
mislabeled as March 27th.
Oh, it's part of that one?
The second set of minutes in there should be April 11th.
Okay, okay.
Oh, there it is, right there. No, there. So do we have approval of the special meeting minutes? Someone make a motion?
I make a motion to approve the second meeting minutes from
I'll second it.
April 11th.
I'll second that.
Those who agree?
Aye.
I can't do it. I wasn't there.
You
Never
weren't
mind,
there.
I'm putting my hand up.
And I'm going to abstain because I was there just for part of the meeting.
So just 3.
Greg, were you there?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, you guys can,
Can we do that with 3 people?
Can we do 3?
We're going to do 3.
we're going to do 3.
All right, we're doing 3. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's approved.
There.
So do we have any public comment?
Let me see here, Sudeshna. I think your guest, is her name Karen? Okay, Karen, we see you're joining us online. We're checking to see if you have any public comment. Okay, Karen, we can come back to you, or you can send me a chat if you're having a hard time getting through. Okay, didn't I just? Okay, Karen, we can come back. If you're just here to listen to the meeting, that's fantastic too. If you'd like to add anything for public comment, feel free to chat, or you can unmute yourself and let us know. But for the sake of moving forward here, we did have one person write in, submit a written public comment. So that would be, it was an attachment onto that agenda packet that we sent you for the Namaste proposal. This group is looking for a sponsorship of an event. So hopefully you had time to read through that proposal that was sent ahead of time, and I'll let you guys go ahead and discuss.
So my understanding is that they are looking for sponsorship money. They did not get their application in time for the grants process.
Oh, okay.
One of the issues is that we did extend the grant application process, and they still were negligent in applying for the grant. So I guess we need to decide what we want to do. Is that correct?
That's correct. And now that you have the 5 of you, you do have a quorum, so you can decide if you want to vote on this tonight, or if you'd like, you guys can decide how you want to handle it.
Microphone.
Oh, there we go. Can you give some background on, it mentions that they've had City Hall providing all of this for free in the past. What's the history there?
Yeah, good question. So the city does partner with this event. They host it right out here on the plaza. We help by providing the space, the dumpsters, we bring in our stage, and then they handle really all the programming. So the booths, the food, and the entertainment. We don't provide any staffing for them or anything of that nature, just really the operational logistics of space.
And just to give you some context, they have applied for a grant in the past. I don't think that they've applied through the grant cycle. So they've just come and done like a presentation and asked for money. And if I remember correctly, we've given them like $1,000 in the past because the city was giving them a lot of the stuff for free. So I know we have given them money in the past. I'm not sure what their ask is, just based on their comment. Do they want us to do publicity for them, or are they requesting a certain amount? So it's a little vague in that way. So I'm really not sure what they're asking for.
I was thinking they're asking for I think about $15,000. Oh yes, so I think it might be a good idea for us to be able to have a conversation with whoever's putting this together, so that we can further address any questions that we might have about the event and about what their needs are and asks are, rather than just in writing, because it might be better to have a conversation, and it might go a little better if we have more of the commissioners here to input.
Yeah, one suggestion would be that even though the grant process wasn't, I think it's ended, is that correct? That we still follow that process regardless, and we ask them to submit in that format so that the grant subcommittee could review it using the rubric so that everyone who is asking for funds is given the same path.
I agree with that.
So,
I agree with that, too. The only thing I don't want to see happening is that this becomes habitual with them or with anybody else, because there was a lot of work put into,
Yeah, right.
a lot of sweat equity put into the grant process, including us making the decision to extend it. So if we do this once, are we going to have to do it again? And I don't want to be stingy. I don't want to say, in my opinion, I don't want to say, no, you can't have it, but there was protocol to follow. And if we do this, will it happen again? So that's my only
Well,
concern.
it allows other people to follow the same path as well,
Right,
right? So it
right,
sets a precedent that the deadlines don't matter,
right.
so.
So I don't know what their understanding was. I don't know why they missed it. I think a conversation would be really good to have with them, because I don't want them to be afraid to come to us again or to say, oh, the Arts Commission doesn't want to work with us. Is that we're trying to build standards so that we can do this process in a meaningful and timeful manner. So I agree. I think that they need to fill out the application. I agree that we should have a conversation, but I also don't want this to become a precedent for future activities.
I do agree with you, and Greg, it does set a precedence for other people to come. However, the grant cycle has not been established for many years, so a lot of people don't know about it. So maybe we stay a little flexible for like a year or so till people know that, oh, that's the deadline and this is when it happens every year and this is how I should apply. So I'm open to having a discussion with them, figuring out what they want. I'm still not sure what they're asking for,
No,
because
well, that-
$15,000 is definitely out of our budget.
So that's why we need to have them fill out an application.
Right. But
Yeah.
then the question is, do we even want them to fill out an application, or do we just say you'll have to submit next year?
Is there a calendar online for grant submission deadlines throughout the year for various activities?
Yes. And I'll also just point out there were other groups that missed the deadline. So I would recommend if you open it up to one,
You have to
we
put
should
up
probably
there.
notify the other folks who emailed a week or so later, just so that it's fair for all.
The other problem being is that I know, the amount of money we have to give for grants, because I know that we spent it all. I mean, I'm spent, you know what I mean? So we granted the amount of money that we had budgeted for grants to the applicants that we approved.
Yeah, and if I wasn't aware that there were more people who had asked for this, so if that's the case, just to make sure that it's a fair process, I would lean towards not opening it up anymore, unfortunately.
I'm tending towards that too.
Otherwise it's a reset of all the work that's been done, right?
maybe it's a catalyst for us to revisit the communication around the grant time period and look at the website and see if maybe it's
Yeah,
just
I'm
not
not aware of it, so.
very visible.
Yeah. So we clarify it for ourselves.
Since none of us seem to know, which is not good.
So the decision we have made is, we're not going to grant them money.
Yeah, I make a motion to consider this application. Well, no, that's the wrong motion. I make a motion to not review any more grant applications because the deadline has passed.
I second that motion.
Agree?
Agree.
Agreed.
Aye.
Okay. And to invite them for the next round. The next time we do it.
Yeah, and I would also be curious to see what kind of response we send them. So, Emily, maybe if you can forward us like a letter saying, hey, you missed it. This is how you should apply next year. It would be great for us to review.
Yeah, or I mean, if the Arts Commission, you're welcome to write it also, and I'm happy to hit send if you guys want a more personal touch to it, which however you want to handle it is fine.
No, I think, well, at least for me, I think what you're sending out. I think for me, what you're sending out should be fine. It's just if we have any recommendations, we can then suggest that to you. It's good to have one person send them out, just what I feel.
Sounds good.
Okay, next on the agenda is the budget. So the first is the Arts Commission 2023 budget tracking as of April.
All right, so here is where the budget stands as of April. Take a minute to look it over. Let me know if you have questions, and then we can show you what expenses. We have the line items of expenses that have come out of the account so far.
Did we not agree last time to remove the Lego and the other items? I don't remember.
I think as far as we got last time was 2 line items were voted on, and I believe this was bumped up, City Hall exhibits,
Right.
and this was bumped up. And those were the 2 that were agreed upon, but we can always adjust these 2 as needed.
So I know that we had some conversation about the sand sculpture. I don't remember the Lego event.
I don't think we got to the point where
No,
we resolved. We just put it under a previous projects bucket.
Has the sign for Southeast 4th Street gone up?
Oh, no. That'll be closer to the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we still need to have conversation about the sand sculpture, the Lego event, and the utility boxes. I feel like an old woman here.
And then you
With my
guys still have
glasses on
this
my nose.
line item down here at the bottom, unallocated, so.
Yeah, we've got money to spend. So if we don't spend it, it gets taken away?
Not taken away, but it won't roll over, right?
Okay.
So it's not like next year that will pop on top of your 2024 budget. So it's, the city gave it to you guys. They want it being used for art,
They want us
so-
to spend it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We better spend it.
Then here's the tracking everything that's come out of your account. So nothing much has changed. This final art payment, this was for Mead Elementary, and then the 2,500 that was for Discovery Elementary for grants from 2022 that rolled into 2023.
Are there still outstanding expenditures on grants?
They're all taken care of, so you won't see any more coming out. They had to get all their paperwork into us by April 1st. So there won't be any more money coming out of the grants until this next round of folks start turning in their reimbursements, which could start showing up out of your 2024 budget, right? So, yeah.
What? So we need to approve these, or? do we
Just
have a
open for discussion.
conversation
If
about it?
there's no
So do we have any more
questions-
conversation about the budget at the moment?
Nope.
All right, well, I guess next is staff update.
Yeah, so just a reminder that the DEIB trainings are coming up, so you don't need to attend both, but we really would love to have everyone make it to one. They did make them a hybrid option, so you should have all those links in your email. If you don't have it, let me know. I have heard the trainings are more suited for in-person, so if you can make it in person, I think you guys will get a lot out of it, but if hybrid's the only way, that's fine too. The DEI sculpture location. That was one that we kind of talked about in the special meetings that came back for discussion to this meeting when the whole group was here. I'm not sure how much you guys want to discuss about it. So last place we stopped with that is the Parks Department, the artist. Our recommendations is filling in the reflection pond right outside of this room and putting the sculpture there. But before we go to council, we'd like to have the recommendation from the Arts Commission, because this is what this board is for. So we wanted to have your guys' feedback before approaching council with that. We were going to go ahead of council in May because it wasn't decided at the last Arts Commission meeting. We're now pushed out to the end of June. So I'm not sure how you want to move forward with that one.
I recall that Megan wanted to get feedback from the folks that were most involved in it, because I think most of us on the call were not.
Because I noticed that she reached out to me and asked me if I thought it would be a good idea to fill it in and use it, and I said yes. Mm-hmm. So I think it would be a great use of that space. Yeah. I don't know what was decided.
At the last meeting, the discussion, I think Megan felt that she wanted to rediscuss it with the whole group who was on the committee when this artist got selected. So I believe I let her know your recommendation was to move forward, but I think we were waiting to hear from Ashley. So you guys have a quorum. I'm not going to push you to make that decision, as these are mostly new commissioners, but technically you can move forward with that if you'd like. That's up to you guys to decide. My hope is to not keep pushing it too far. There is the possibility council may not like that location, and then we need to go back. The artist is itching and ready to get started, but
Right.
she can't really supply us with her final design until we give her the location, right? So
Right.
there's a little bit of a standstill, and I would really love to see this project completed in 2023. I know it's been started well before my time here, but with all that said, we want to make sure it's done right. So don't feel pressured or rush into making a decision if you're not 100% on it. It's a big permanent art project. So you guys can decide if you want to discuss it or
Open
push
the
it.
curtain and look at it.
Yeah.
I have a request. I know, Greg, you're an industrial designer and you probably have experience with large sculptures. Is that correct?
Large structures, yeah. I've designed some sculptures, but they never moved forward into full fabrication or installation.
Well, I was just wondering what your opinion on the location would be, as opposed to.
So, yeah, so I
Not.
learned about it in my first meeting last month, and, thank you. And so initially I was kind of bummed out that the fountain was going to be filled in for it, but when I learned then that the fountain was being filled in anyway, I'm like, okay, well, the fountain's being filled in anyway, so maybe it makes sense to put it there. I personally like sculptures that are a part of water features as well. And so I'm kind of bummed to hear that the fountain's being filled in regardless of what we choose to do with the placement of the sculpture. And my understanding is that's because of maintenance on it is becoming too much. Is that right?
It fills with garbage, and then people let their dogs swim in it in the summer, and it's just it's become an odd attraction.
It's gotten very gross.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I walk this all the time, and every time I walk by it, it's just, oh my gosh, why, it
Got it.
gets slimy and dirty and,
Yeah, so if there's certainly momentum to modify it, get rid of it as a water feature, then, and it sounds like the artist has already picked it as a location? Or is that not correct?
Yeah, she came out in person, and that is her top pick, but obviously at the recommendation of the Arts Commission. If you guys really did not like it, I mean, we can continue to research locations. We have looked at quite a few locations.
Yeah, I guess without knowing what the art, what the sculptures look like, it's kind of hard for me to visualize where else it should go. It's kind of like a chicken or the egg. Like, you pick the location and then you design the sculpture for the location, or you have a collection of sculptures that are flexible enough that they could go there, they could go somewhere else, or they could be scattered about. And I don't know what the driving force is for all of that with this being new to the party.
So we do have a idea of what the sculpture would look like.
Okay.
So maybe Emily can share that with you.
Okay.
They are going to be 3 sculptures that are about this high, so they're not really big structures. But I'm just curious when this was discussed, because I don't remember talking about it. Or I didn't know that the fountain was going to be filled in.
At that special meeting on,
Yeah, it was brought up at the special meeting.
Oh, for the grants meeting? Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay.
Which is the reason why Megan felt that it wasn't good to vote on whether to go
Okay.
forward or
Okay, got it.
abstain.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to make sure that anyone who was involved from the beginning of the process had the ability to make suggestions or to take the space into consideration.
Got it. I'm glad she didn't do that because I was involved right from the very beginning. My initial thought was, oh, the water feature, like, are they going to fill it in for the sculpture? And how are people going to react to it? Because, they might have an adverse reaction to the water feature being filled out and something else replacing it. But now that I know that it's going to be filled up anyways, I think that's a great location.
my only concern is just viewing the length of the fountain, that just,
So there's three?
like Greg, it's pretty significantly long, and looking at her sculptures, they would have to be, at least one of them would have to be of substantial size to really visually provide the weight that fits that space. I just think that it's potentially, if we don't know what we're getting, it's going to be a mess.
Yeah, and we kind of know the size and the height of it, so we can try to. It's not going to be too big, so I get your point. Like, it's
Could we ask her to do a quick, she could take a photo of the space and
yeah, we
put
should.
Photoshop if
what
she
is
needs
the
help,
Big
we
Rock
could
Park? That's
Photoshop
another
it. That wouldn't be hard.
So yeah, Big Rock Park was the original location proposal. This has
Oh.
changed properties, and then on each property sites, this project's like changed a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, this is the proposal, but ignore the Big Rock Park. So step 1 of her contract is when she can't give us the design of what the cutouts will look like until we give her the location, which totally makes sense. She was thinking if it's like these rolling grass, she'll have some sitting, some standing.
Got it, yeah,
So
okay.
once we let her know the location, then Jen, she will provide a actual sketch, which then you guys will have time to make remarks on and
Great.
make sure it's what you'd like.
And then the sample of proposed silhouettes, the next page? Or Is there a title of the artwork?
So the project was the DEIB. Let me see. It's a little bit about the artist. I can send you the whole proposal if you'd like. Like I said, this project started years ago. I should know off the top of my head when. Let's see. I can send you this whole.
Yeah, I don't want to be the person who's like, let's start everything over again, but I am curious about what the other locations were.
So there were 3 other locations that the Parks Department had recommended. One of them was against this, like this glass
Oh,
on the other
okay.
side. The second one was down towards YMCA where there's a little bridge. So like next to the bridge, there's a door, and next to the door there's like a little grassy area with some plants. And then the third one was down the slope near the steps.
Okay.
So when we talked about it last time, we had agreed that the slope was the one that made more sense because it was not hidden or it looked more prominent.
Okay.
So that's what happened the last time we approved it.
Yeah, the slope
That makes a lot of
chose
sense to me.
challenges. Yeah, the slope was challenging. A couple things on maintenance, we could have made it work, but for mowing, we didn't want any kids running into it. It blocked irrigation. And then once the artist came and looked, if you look at the slope, it's rather steep. And she was saying like they'd have to excavate part of the hillside to put concrete in to then bolt these structures to. And the concern was that hillside over time, the structures would start to slide with the hill and slant, and it was turning into a little bit bigger project just because the grade of that hill is a little steep. Are there other hills? Absolutely. If that's the vision, we can look.
By the YMCA, which one are you?
Oh, it's like when you're going down the path, there's like a little tiny bridge that.
We're in the Y where the bicycles and there's a big window there and all of that equipment is there.
Yeah.
They can look right down onto it.
Oh,
Really
okay.
tiny thing.
Okay.
It's like,
Oh,
yeah.
so it's kind of hidden away?
Yeah.
Yeah. This section seems pretty big to me for 3 to 5 sculptures, yay big.
So Emily, were they going to cut it down and fill it in, or they were just going to fill it in and leave the,
It wouldn't have gotten done this year. So it's actually de-winterized. The fountain has water in it now. So they're going to leave it until we decide what to do with it. But the structures would be sitting up high.
up high?
Yeah, so they'd
So
fill
they'd
it.
actually fill it in.
Yeah, and maintenance was talking about looking for some nicer, it wouldn't just be concrete, they'd find a nicer finish. Because remember all the discussions about people running into it? Our
Right.
risk management department was thinking if it's on a grassy knoll, is a kid gonna roll down the hill into the edge of, so there was a lot of different dynamic
Right,
people looking into locations. So the fact that the fountain is slightly raised reduces that risk of anyone accidentally running into it. You can experience the art from all sides. It's not directly up against a building. These were kind of the punch list items, Greg, that came from, maintenance and all the different people. So that is why that location. And then also it's right outside of council chambers. It's a statement place. This is the gathering place for the city. It felt like it was a
Can we ask them to be a bit bigger? Like if they're, I guess if we don't know the size, do we have the ability to suggest if you're going to put it in there, then let's fill it in so it fits right? Because it sounds like if they're smaller, then they're going to be these little things in this huge area that used to be a fountain. And if they're bigger and have a little bit more presence, then they might fit and feel more at home.
Did it say they were going to be 3 to 5 feet or 3 to 5?
sculptures. They're
Yeah.
It's both.
both.
I guess 5 feet is good.
But
It says right down, yeah.
3, 4
5
feet tall.
freestanding silhouettes.
maybe we could give that feedback to the artist as far as, our concerns. We could approve the spot, but then say, this is a concern. Can you work with us to make
Yeah,
sure that
I
that-
think so, as long as it's within budget. So we've signed, this budget for this project was adopted by council and everything a while ago. I think those conversations should be open to all of that, as long as it doesn't exceed her project budget that we've signed a contract for.
We can always use the sand sculpture money
We-
to.
Yeah, could we,
add
if
on.
needed, could we do what Sudeshna's suggesting?
Oh, I see. Oh.
I don't see that being a problem, but I need to just check because our legal team, just because we already have a signed agreement, I just need to check to make sure we can adjust. I don't know 100% for sure, but we can definitely explore it.
It does look like, though, if she's already planning on somewhere between 3 and 5 feet, if it's standing 2 feet off the ground,
Takes up a
three
lot of
three to
space.
5
Yeah.
feet will take it up to Oh, that is less than a foot over there. Yeah.
So I think we have, Emily, have a conversation with the artist and find out how aesthetically she sees fitting the size and the amount of sculptures into that space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess if that's the next step, right? If we say, we're cool with this location, let's see what it looks like. And then we still have the ability to maybe size up or down depending on if we're feeling cramped or it feels too small. Like, to take up that space, I think it needs to have a presence. The colors will certainly help with that.
Yeah.
Having it outside city council chambers here is pretty nice.
And I think it being in a central gathering place is nice too. Because, you know,
Yeah,
city
everyone's
council,
gonna see it, right?
and city council wants it to be, wants people to be able to see it
Yeah,
and not hidden
okay.
away anywhere.
yeah, and I know it is important to them. This
Yeah.
actually, so city council sets like a handful of goals for their entire work year, and this was one of them, to
Yeah.
get this installed. So
Yeah, let's see what it looks like. Let's
Yeah, talk to, and then find out if indeed we need to spend more money on it, if we can move money from somewhere else, like the sand sculptures.
yeah, so the last piece of the puzzle too is really, we have to get council approval on the
Of the site.
location.
Sure.
So if, I guess what order would
See what
you,
that looks like, right?
yeah, so if you'd like, we
Either for
can.
us to do that or for them to see that, yeah.
We can, yep. And then, right now I have it on the list to present in the end of June. If we need to pull it and present in July, we can do
Let's see
that.
if she can do it by the end of June.
Okay. Would you guys like to invite her to the May meeting? Like, we can invite her virtually if you guys want to send her stuff ahead of time and see if she can join us virtually for the May meeting.
Where is she located, do we know?
She's in Tacoma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or we can invite her. Yeah, absolutely. If you'd like, just to get the conversation really rolling.
Yeah, if she can bring some artwork that shows kind of what it looks like, that'd be great to see.
So the thing is, as the five of us, do we need to make some kind of motion about approving the site, or do we have to wait? How do we handle this one?
I guess I'm just trying to be thoughtful too for the artist. I'm a little hesitant to have her put all this work into a location and a design to then get in front of council and council say, we don't like that location. Because until we give her anything, she can't get paid, right? So she's been sitting there waiting for decisions from us. So she's very kind. I'm sure she would be happy to like answer questions. And I just don't know how much of a true design proposal she's going to put in.
Right.
And then for the possibility that council could say, no way, we're putting it somewhere else, and to start over.
So that maybe so we need to find out if city council says okey dokey or not.
Yeah,
So
and then
let's
I think the
keep
ball
it
will roll
on
pretty
the list.
fast.
So I propose, I mean, we can always change our minds, but I propose, you want it to go to the city council meeting in June? That we
Yes.
may.
May.
Which one?
No, in June, but I have to submit everything so many weeks ahead of time to
Okay.
council that
So
by
the
the
s-
May meeting, it's too late.
So
and
the
we'd have to
soonest we
kick
could
it.
do it is in June.
Yeah, that's as soon as I could get on their list again.
And I, just what we've been experiencing with this project and the back and forth with city council, it's been quite the journey. That I think that we should ask city council what they think.
But what, don't they want to hear from us?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But,
If we say we're comfortable with it pending final design review, are you guys okay putting it here? Sounds to me like
Yeah.
I guess if we are okay with
yeah,
it going out there. So, 'cause I mean, so I'm very late to the party, so obviously locations have been kicked around and discussed and agreed to a certain extent, so maybe having council weigh in finally would be able to, it would allow the artist to get the ball rolling on her end.
I also have to say that that seems like the best location so far, because if the slope is out of question, I really don't want to see it like stuck in some corner. So out of all the locations that we've seen, this seems to be the most ideal location regardless of
Yeah.
what.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we have enough votes, we can say, we can just, do.
Yeah, let's keep the ball rolling. Let's keep some momentum going.
And you both have been a part of this conversation since the beginning of it, correct?
I have.
Sudeshna has,
Yeah.
but I came in pretty.
Okay, all right. Let's take a vote.
Yeah, so I make a motion to approve the fountain as the final location for the DEI sculptures.
I second that.
Approve?
Approved.
Approved. Great.
Okay, great.
All right, look out, city council.
And so does this fall under the permanent/temporary arts on the subcommittees? Because I'm not on one yet. I want to get on to something like that.
It should, but
Okay.
it's already been.
No, I mean like this type of
Yes.
of.
Well, this was a one-off project because,
Oh, got it, okay.
so this, like most of the commission was involved in this process, just
Got it.
because it was such a unique, different project.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, well, that's very exciting. So next for staff updates, the grant recommendations that you all had for us during that special meeting, that will get proposed to council on May 3rd, and then applicants can get notified May 4th. I'm happy to send that out. Would you like to see a copy of that, Sudeshna, before it gets sent out? Or are you?
No, that's fine. I mean,
Okay.
you can CC us.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Yep, no problem. So those will go out May 4th. And then Barbara came in person, and we worked on the website for the Arts Commission. So we can only change it so much, but we were able to add little pops of color and graphics and kind of clean stuff up, and then also add the Artist Spotlight program page. So just more to come on that. You'll see little updates coming out here and there for that. And that's it for staff updates.
And there's no old business, unless somebody wants to bring something old up. Well, we're getting there.
Oh, okay, we've gone there, yeah.
Hold on. And then new business.
And Emily, is Hope online? Doesn't look like. That's fine.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so last meeting we talked about the literary, or I talked about the literary program in partnership with the library. So I met with Irene and Hope, who both work here, and there was a little bit of delay in them getting back to me because their teen librarian just quit and they don't have anybody to replace her yet. But we still decided to go ahead with the program. So just to give you the gist of what we talked about, we were hoping to start the program in fall because they'll need that time to kind of figure out a new person, get them involved with it, and so on. This would be targeted towards middle school and high schoolers, most likely, TBD, just based on what the librarian recommends. And it would be a 6 to 8 week workshop where, the teens will come together in the big room in the library, and there will be a person from staff as well as an arts commissioner. I already have spoken to somebody who wants to volunteer for that program, so she'll have to get vetted and things like that, so she's able to be at the library. So it would be a 6 to 8 process, and there will be different topics that students will be writing on. That's all TBD. It's of no cost to us because the library does these programs in other places, so that's great news. But I did recommend asking local authors to come and speak about their writing process and other things that would be of interest to these students. So it depends on how much money they charge, but I said we can talk about it once we figure out who the artist is and how much they're going to be charging us. So to begin with, not a whole lot of money, no money involved. Down the line, we see that as expanding into different months or different times of the year. So in spring, April, Poetry Month, we would have something special for that. And then October, they have like a horror-themed short story writing event and so on. So, this would be an ongoing program. I think it would be very great to have kids just have a space where they can come and write and have somebody mentor them. So at this point, I guess I'm looking for approval to kind of go ahead with the program, and we can start in fall. So I guess we just need to pass a motion to go ahead with it
I
or
move
not.
to go ahead with
Oh, I
the,
think Jen had something to
I
say.
just had a quick
Oh, I'm
question.
sorry.
It sounds great.
sorry.
Do they need some funds for promoting the events, the program?
They will be promoting it through the library system.
Okay.
So they will do their part and we can do our part. We can go talk to the local schools, the youth council, and so on, and get the word out there that way. We can also advertise on our website and Facebook and other social media pages. So I don't think there would be a lot of money involved in
Question,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
so I move that you go ahead with it.
All right. Anybody second?
I second.
Perfect. Yay.
And just to let you know, I'd love to be involved with it. I teach writing, but it's a very different way of a different way of looking at writing. So
It could be a session.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'd really love to be involved in that.
Perfect. So the next step from, oh, do we want to?
Oh, I mean, approve.
All right. Perfect.
Approve.
Great, thank you. So
Okay.
the next step would be for me to go talk to them again, get this, sign some contracts, things like that, just paperwork, and then figure out the details of the program. The reason we decided to start in fall is that this is too early to start in May or June, and then it's summertime, and nobody's interested in going to the library. So we thought fall would be the best time, like September-ish.
Great.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. So Rachel, you had some new business?
Yes. We are going to have a new exhibit hanging up at City Hall. It's going to get installed on May 17th, and the reception is going to be May 19th. And it's going to be from 6:30 to 8. And there's a lot of working artists who are going to be participating in some amazing pieces of artwork. Some of the artists who are participating solely make their living off of art. So there's going to be some emerging artists there as well as established artists. And it's my goal to be able to promote this in a way where people who normally wouldn't come might come and to show up. So ideally, there'd be several ways to promote it, and I'm not quite sure how we're going to be able to do that, but I'm hoping that somebody may be able to offer some suggestions on ways that we can promote it so that the public is aware of this happening as opposed to just being postcards and word of mouth.
And the theme is nature?
Yeah, nature and nurture.
Nature and nurture, okay.
And we have a sample postcard. I don't know if Emily's got it.
I saw it,
You did?
yes.
Nice.
Is this one of the artists?
Yes. Yes. And so there'll be 9 participating artists in here. Yes. We could have a couple of changes, but it's
Are
almost
they
done.
all from Sammamish?
No, King County, mostly.
So one suggestion I had is Earth Day just happened, and this is a great opportunity for us to say, hey, this is what we did for Earth Day. The next thing that you can look forward to is this event. So I know there's the city did the Earth Day celebrations at Beaver Lake Park, and we're still seeing kind of social media posts about it. So this could be like a follow-up to that.
Who has access to the Arts Commission Facebook group? Who's on that? Okay, Emily does. Okay, because we could do. It'd be easy just to do a visual that's in that post format and then post it. I'm only aware of the Facebook account. I don't know if we have anything else.
Yeah.
Where else are we allowed to promote? Where else can we?
Oh, wherever you want. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm asking because there's other things that are promoted through that the city promotes, but I don't know, like how, what's the process of getting this event promoted?
On the main city website or
The city website, anywhere where anyone is getting information about what's going on at the city?
Yeah, so it goes out pretty far in advance. So, like our rec guide that went out to all the residents and businesses, that was completed at the beginning of February. The city newsletter that you guys are going to see in your mailboxes here, next week, that got done also in February. So, for the next round, if we know sooner, we can definitely get it in like the city news. Well, I can pitch it to get it in the city newsletter. We do have a new communications person for the city coming on board any day now, or May 1st. It'll take that person a minute to get up to speed, but then hopefully we'll have more information coming through all the city channels. But we share that little space with all the other departments. So we can do it that way. And then anything that you guys want to share, I'm happy to see if someone else can also take on the Facebook account. But anything you want to put on there, just send me exactly what you want it to say in the graphic, and I'm happy to post it. And city events, you're welcome to come promote things at any of the city events. I think we're going to talk about that a little later too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's good to promote it on this, like the City Arts Commission website, the city calendar. And the reason I suggested the city social media is because they have a lot more followers than the Arts Commission, although it should be in both places. So I think we will get more traction that way. Also, we used to do peach jars in the past, so they would go out to all the students and their families in this area. I think it costs like $40 or something, but we have to create like a flyer in those specifications and send it to the schools, and they send it out to all the students. So that's another way of publicizing it.
Okay. That's a lot. Thank you.
So Emily, so anything else? Some good stuff.
Oh, I just want to add that Barbara, Jen, and I met to talk about the outreach committee, and I'm hoping that you finally got access to Teams. Yes. So we talked a lot about the whats and the whys and our mission and what we're trying to accomplish. So we got through a lot in that meeting. We do have a living document on the Teams somewhere. I'll have to, if you don't find it, let me know and I'll share it with you all. But we're going to schedule a next meeting soon and figure out next steps for that.
The next new business is the 2023 community event activity sign up. And I'm not sure what that is. Is this from the calendar of events, Emily?
Yeah, I think Megan emailed this. Did this email go out to all of you? I think, or was it just to me? I think she was hoping that folks would look it over and see if there's any dates or events that they were interested in possibly attending and promoting the Arts Commission, was what I gathered from her email. And you guys can always look at these dates and email us later. So how it kind of works at city events is if you guys let us know we're coming, we're happy to set up the table, the chair, the booth, the canopy. Really, you don't need to worry about bringing any equipment. We'll do all that for you. And then if you want to host a craft or anything like that, just send us your supply list, preferably a couple weeks ahead of time, and we can do all the shopping for you under the Arts Commission budget and make sure all your supplies are there. We want to make it really easy. So these are the city-run events. The farmers markets are highlighted because the chamber actually puts on the farmers market. We have a great working relationship with them where if you're interested in hosting a booth, we can make that happen, but it's actually not one of our city-ran events. We just work together with them on that. But any of the non-highlighted events are ones that Annalise and I work on, so we can absolutely get you set up if you're interested.
I have a question. Would any of these events be acceptable to consider maybe having an artist booth where artists are able to set up to sell their prints or small items?
Yeah, I mean, something I kind of tossed around with Megan too is like if you guys wanted to sponsor a booth at the farmers market, so cover the fee with the chamber, and then you guys could select which artist gets it which week. That might be kind of fun. And if they're a, just getting off their feet artist or not sure, never done this before, that might be a nice way for them to get their art out without having to, carry on the cost, the booth fee cost. So we can get you a booth, but you can't like sell from it. City informational booths, right? If you're going to be selling goods at the farmers market, then there needs to be the booth space fee. But the other events, looking at them quickly, we don't really have any other selling vendors, so they'd kind of be a standalone booth space. But it's something we can talk about more if any of these really jump out.
So probably the city, so probably the farmer's market would be.
That's where they fit in best in my mind. Yeah. And there's other artists selling other types of goods at the farmer's market. The concerts in the park, we'll have like the Kiwanis will sell ice cream, but that in a food truck, but not necessarily the same type of experience that you might be looking for an artist. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you guys wanted to put together some sort of artist shop, that type of art specific farmers market at one of our park spaces, like we can absolutely make sure the space is available for that. We can help.
Okay, that's great.
And
I know in the
this is all
past.
sorry.
Go ahead. In the past, they've done like rock painting at the concerts in the park, and I think some birdhouses at the farmers market. I don't remember I think they were painting the birdhouses. So a commissioner was there, and then like providing an activity for the kids. And I don't know if you could do, like you could sponsor an artist to do an activity with kids too, right? Yeah. But just, different ways to have your presence kind of known at the events.
Yeah. If you guys want, herd drawing last summer. Does that sound familiar to anyone? I know that was a popular, if you wanted to like hire someone like that to come in and do an activity for the community and have it be under the Arts Commission umbrella, like that's something you can provide at these extra events if you want. The craft kits were really popular. We still get emails from parents asking if the Arts Commission is going to do that again. That's an idea. So if any of these look interesting, just let us know and we'll do whatever we can to make it as easy as possible.
Do you know how much a booth is at the farmer's market?
I can find out really quickly, but I don't off the top of my head.
35?
I'm meeting with them tomorrow out here. I could definitely ask, but let's see. I think they have a lot of good information on their website. Non-refundable application
45.
fee. Goes in tiers, it looks like.
Yeah. And then would we have, I noticed up above it said that there's a license. Do you need a business license to sell? Yeah, required licenses and permits.
Are the tents provided by the market, or does the vendor have to provide them? Do you know?
I
I
think the
don't
vendor
know.
has
I think
to
the
provide
vendor
it.
provides, but that's a good question. We could I can ask them tomorrow.
Because if we were going to get a booth space for something, I guess we would need to know whether we have to provide tents as well and set up and break down, or if they're doing all of those things.
I'm pretty sure the vendor provides
Yeah,
it.
because a lot of them have
They have
their
their own thing,
logos
yeah.
or the name of their businesses on them.
In the past, we've, like, as staff, we've set up your art, because you have the Arts Commission tent with, I think you have one with your logo and everything on the canopy, right?
I haven't seen that, but you do have supplies downstairs. We'll take a field trip one day.
We've been talking about that.
I
Is there-
know,
is there a
anytime
list
you want.
Of events we've sponsored in the past, or is this all brand new to us,
For the farmer's market?
or just for anything? There's,
It's an emerging conversation, I think.
got it, okay.
And the Arts Commission is typically normally at every city event before COVID. So then when COVID happened and the events went to a stall and then we slowly started rolling them back out, I think it was just just something that kind of fell back through, right? But before COVID, from my understanding, is the Arts Commission would attend and do some sort of craft activity or educational booth or something at most
And we
events.
did have the pop-ups that we did
Oh, here you go.
that year before COVID. Oh, it was before COVID. I don't know, that time warp.
Yeah, and then during COVID, I think from what I was reading is there was, pop-up events, or there would be stuff here at City Hall that folks could come and like take home to do. Those were the craft kits or walking tours of the different art in the parks and little packs that families could take home and then do individually.
And Emily, is this list accessible somewhere? So if you have to put our name next to the date, is there a place we can do that?
Just what was sent over email. So maybe if the subcommittees, if you guys want to chat and see what you want to attend, and then let us know, and then we'll make sure that the Parks Department will make sure that you guys have a setup at whatever event you need, or if you need us to purchase supplies, we're happy to do that.
Okay.
I might be attending a few of the farmers market events as a art vendor
Oh, great.
personally.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't, it wouldn't be, I mean, I would be, of course, the arts commissioner, but I wouldn't be working as the arts commissioner for that booth. That's okay, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
As a citizen of the community.
As a starving artist.
You don't look like you're starving.
And so what committee would it fall under? Pop-up programs? So maybe they should look at it first?
Gosh, it could be outreach and engagement. It could be pop-up programs.
Well, the chalk art was the other farmer's
Oh yeah, chalk art.
market. We just had to coordinate maintenance. So
I think it would be great to talk more about this when some more of the players are here.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what was done in the past. If there's a list or anything like that, or if people remember, because
Well, we've done the rock painting,
okay.
chalk art at the farmers market. Rock painting was at the concerts in the park, I believe, and we've had craft kits that have been handed out to people, but that was not event related, I think.
Didn't we do
And then
something
we had
at
bird houses at some
the
point.
birdhouses?
Yeah.
But didn't we do something at Earth Day? Was it last year or before COVID?
I think that was the birdhouses.
Those were the
Yeah.
birdhouses.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So like at our Earth Day event this last weekend, we did you could paint a flower pot, and then you could also build a terrarium with little like figurines, and so there's activities like that if folks wanted to volunteer at, we could find space.
So should we add this
Bless
to
you.
next month's agenda then?
Yeah, why don't we
Okay.
add this to
Yeah.
next month's agenda?
We can do that.
Okay.
Just looking through some photos here. This looks like the chalk art at Farmers Market. And there's the
There's
booth.
the-
And then it looks like they just had signs promoting what other projects were going on. lot of photos. Oh, Lego. The Lego event looked popular too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taj Mahal and the 9/11. All right.
Where did all the Legos come from?
It was the gentleman that was hired to run the event brings it all in. Yeah, and they would set it up at the Boys and Girls Club, and it was just open for people to stop in and just play for as long as they wanted to, and then kind of come and go.
I was just in New York City, and they have a Legos store on Fifth Avenue. The line was around the block. I mean, it was around the city block and met back to the front of the line. It was, what is this? And it was the Lego store. I had no idea.
Anyway,
Cool. Thank you.
yeah.
Okay. So committee reports, you already talked about the outreach. Just a little bit about the artist spotlight. Is that we got 4 or 5, they're not applications, I mean, 4 or 5
Like submittals.
submittals. And if it keeps going this way, we're going to be able to do once a month, because we were talking about doing it once a quarter. But we have 5 artists to work with now, and they're all ages, different disciplines. The first one we're going to, the one that's going to be spotlighted on in May. How old is she?
She's young
Yeah, this is her.
and really talented.
Yeah, look at her work. She's been doing art for 7 years.
Her mother is one of the applicants too. Her mother's the
Yeah,
art teacher.
yeah. Yeah. But she's amazing. So how fun.
I don't know. We don't ask that. How old
No.
are you? Because we don't. But
Can't.
But how old does she look? I don't know, what, 9?
I think it's written in what she wrote up there somewhere.
She's been creating art for 7.5 years. I have to do some editing here, but her biggest influence is her mom.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So I love that we have the interest, and it's starting to get some momentum.
Where do you see these when they're finished?
They're going to be, Emily, they're going to be on the website. We're going to try to get them in the city.
yeah, they'll be on this page. And then as the communications team gets on it, they want to start bringing back the monthly city newsletter. So hopefully we can get a little blurb in that. And then the Facebook page and anywhere else that folks want to share it.
Okay, anything else? Well, if there's nothing else, I think that, gosh, we did this in an hour. That I propose to adjourn our meeting. I don't have one.
We got
So be
second
it.
that.
Do we have to, we don't have to have a motion to close, do we?
I thought we did.
I think normally Janie likes that. Yeah. We'll have a motion to close if you don't mind.
Okay. Motion to close the meeting, to adjourn the meeting.
I second that.
Aye.
Approve?
All right.
Okay. You want to? All right, so we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone. So did I do okay?
Record.